It's Friday, so can we talk about Bob Mueller, Barack Obama, and teddy bears? Because did you know President Obama once accepted 2 FBI teddy bears from then FBI Director Mueller for his daughters, Sasha and Malia? You can see it right here. Those are formal issue FBI teddy bears. It's a rare moment of personality that we saw from this largely stoic figure. We don't hear about this too often, but take a look at some of Mueller's lighter moments.
We would like to send you home with 2 official Bureau teddy bears for them, as well as T-shirts. Thank you for that very kind introduction, Lady Gaga. You have not heard the last of that.
He's got jokes occasionally. Now, whether Bob Mueller does testify to Congress next Wednesday, which we are being told is still the government guidance, or later, we don't expect to see that kind of Mueller. In fact, we reviewed his 60-some congressional appearances and found he was unwavering, at times strategically evasive. He knows what he's doing, and he is quite careful under oath. Now we turn to someone who has been on the Mueller beat since before there was a Mueller probe, Mother Jones D.C. Bureau Chief David Corn. You are a great expert to have for this preview. Thank you for being here.
Happy to be here.
Let's start with the fact that being evasive doesn't mean you're untruthful. And Bob Mueller, we found, was often evasive in some of these hearings around key questions. Take a look.
I think it would depend on the circumstance.
I think you should.
I can't say with definitiveness now, at this time, I would. This is a difficult and complex question that we're wrestling with. I hesitate to speculate because I have just a piece of the puzzle also. I would have to check to make absolutely certain. Let me check one thing if I could. Yeah, I will review that answer. It's very difficult to generalize or to reach some sort of understanding or make progress with that generalization.
Is that what we expect to see at the hearing?
When I think about the testimony that I assume is coming next week or maybe the week after, I think of 3 words: within the lines. Now, the interesting thing is, whose lines? Bob Mueller's lines. What is he now? He's a private citizen. He doesn't work for the government. He doesn't have to follow any orders from Attorney General Barr. But it's clear from the statement he gave when he gave a 9-minute press conference a couple weeks ago that he believes he should be circumspect in talking about the piece of work that he delivered to Congress.
And he has long been that way. For people who think, oh, well, this is about Special Counsel Mueller. He had a different view than even people who held the very same posts. We did an apples-to-apples comparison of something you also covered, which is why you're such a great expert. You covered the Bush administration. You wrote about many of those scandals. When James Comey was a part of the infamous spying hospital room scandal, he was much more forthcoming with Congress than Mueller.
Yes, this is a great moment.
Well, take a look at the comparison.
I raced to the hospital room. Mr. Ashcroft was lying down in the bed. The room was darkened.
It was out of the ordinary.
I prepared a letter of resignation, intending to resign.
I don't believe that it's appropriate for me to get into conversations that I've had with principals on that issue.
One is a dramatic account. And he was far more comprehensive in talking about it, Jim Comey. And the other is Sergeant Joe Friday. Just the facts, maybe not even just the facts. If I don't believe these are appropriate facts to share, I'm not going to share them. Which is why, thinking about his testimony, he certainly will put a public face to some of, I think, the very bold findings within the Mueller report. But whether he goes beyond that, whether he shares any evaluations, anything that he thinks, personally about what he found, I think they're going to have a very hard time pushing him. And on the other side, you're going to have all these Republicans who say they're going to be gunning for him. I'd like to see Jim Jordan gun for Marine veteran Bob Mueller, but they're going to say that he's pretty unflappable, right? He knows what the lines are for him. He has a lot of control, but I don't think we should be looking at this moment as necessarily a pivotal moment because of these reasons.
Well, this brings me to something I know, and I love you, but People say that you bring music into things too much.
I know.
People say that
They say about me all the time.
But if Comey and some of these other witnesses are the Grateful Dead, and they will jam through the hearing for hours and see what happens, right? Mueller is playing the same set list from the reunion tour 5 years ago. And as you say, he's not going to depart. And for that, we offer another piece of hearing sound where he's going back and forth with the late Senator Arlen Specter, who was tough in oversight.
Oh, yeah.
And Mueller...
Because he was a former prosecutor himself.
Exactly, he's a former prosecutor himself. And Mueller finds ways to say things that if you weren't listening closely sounded like an answer, because he does the lawyer thing of saying, I would expect that thing to happen. And if you're not listening closely, you go, oh, yeah, that's an answer. And then Specter calls him out as saying, well, that's actually not an answer at all. Take a look.
I cannot put myself, without all the facts, back into the position of the decision maker.
If this committee, if those two men, the chairman and the ranking member, can't have access to this memorandum, I don't think Senate oversight is worth a tinker's damn.
I am making a distinction, Senator, if I might. I'm saying in the case where there's been a request for this memorandum, I would expect that the request of the committee to get this.
Well, Mr. Mueller, that doesn't answer the question at all.
Doesn't answer the question. Now, you know, the great rapper David Byrne of Talking Heads once said, facts don't do what you want them to. Right? And so we have a situation where I think Mueller's going to stick to a very limited viewing of the facts. And people are going to ask him to make conclusions or draw observations based on that limited set of facts. And he's probably going to say no to that. And what recourse is there if someone pushes him the way Specter did there to go beyond that? So it's going to, I think he's going to get it from both sides. And it's going to be in some ways very dramatic, but ultimately maybe not that satisfying.
Well, you know what David Byrne also said?
Psycho killer?
Take me to the river.
We'll go there.
Drop me in the water. Hey now.
Hey now.
Hey now, now.
Yes. But Al Green said it first.
That's an Al Green cover?
You did not know that.
I didn't know that.
Well, you got to go back and listen to Al Green doing it.
The Reverend Al Green.
Yes.
Wow. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.